Wisconsin Voices. You are here with Brian, community outreach organizer for Wisconsin Voices. Good morning, y'all. We back. I do want to thank y'all for tapping in and tuning in yesterday to our show. Definitely want to shout out our guest Von Mays for coming through. And when she comes back to the mic, now she
Yo,
can
I'm
introduce. There
back.
we
I'm
go.
back.
What's up? Tell them
Yeah,
who you are.
LANISHA Martin, communications manager with Wisconsin Voices, and yeah, I'm back.
What's
Back
up, Nisha?
again.
Yeah, I was just telling him the interview we had with
Oh,
Mr.
yesterday.
Von
Yeah,
Mays.
Vaughn.
Hey, I did post it yesterday for y'all that are interested in just donate, just like he said, gifts or anything for the gift drive or for the toy
Yeah,
drive this
toy
year.
drive. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
that time of
definitely
the year.
donate. His
Yeah,
goal is what did he say, 15,000?
yeah. He said somewhere
Yeah,
around fifteen
he
thousand
upped it.
yesterday.
Last year was 10. He upped
Yeah.
it this year to 15. So yeah, get him at that
No, I'm
15.
pulling up. I'm pulling up. I'm taking
Yeah,
that time once I'm done with my stuff, and I'm gonna try to get done early. I probably
yeah,
had to get to sleep early the night before, but I just want to make sure that we cooking and lining up whatever we doing with the family. But I want to make sure I'm getting out there and helping pass
yeah.
out,
It's
throw out some
fun.
stuff
Like I
too.
think we probably start like about like maybe like 5 o'clock, five
Okay.
6 o'clock.
Okay.
And then we probably was done by like 8:39. But yeah, make sure you dress warm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I have. I'm
Yeah,
gonna have a little 32 degree below whatever they call these on the little I guess lawn johns that be wearing. I have them on. I have my gloves on, and
yeah.
I'm gonna play around with some of those. What are little heat warmers, the little heat packs?
Oh yeah,
I usually
yeah.
don't use them, but
No, they work. I got a few of them. My son plays football, so they be playing in the cold. They really work though. So yeah,
okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try 'em. Before we get too deep, we do have a great guest today. Somebody's really important to our city. We got Mr. Bill Christianson, who is the comptroller from Milwaukee, who was elected last April. Dude, definitely want to shout him out. He is here in the building today, so that's who we'll be on. So if you're interested in tuning in, y'all please tune in. We'll have the guy who is the watchdog over Milwaukee's budget on right after our little segment today. Outside of that, is any updates? And I know you be having stuff going on. Don't you got something going on
uh,
with
tonight,
yeah.
we got the men's circles going on 32nd and Center.
Okay.
Address 2709 North 32nd Street
Yeah.
at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So if you free, pull up.
Yeah,
Pull
I got a
up.
couple of people I was telling about the men's circle that I definitely feel will be beneficial for them.
Mhm.
People that want to open up, people that want to engage in different spaces. So I've been, slowly asking more folks to come to that men's circle. And I think it's
Mhm.
just a good time for people to, a good way to network and be introduced to people in different workspaces as well. You set that up where you do have people that work in different spaces, whether it's the Democratic Party of Wisconsin, or they working on the ground in community, or they working in music.
Yeah, all
You have a
types of
mixture
people.
of folks, that come through that door. So
Yeah,
I would say it's beneficial for just not the healing aspect of it and being able to get some things off your chest, but networking opportunities.
yeah. Shout out to Sawyer Gibson too. Yeah, Sawyer he runs the circle. Sawyer is
Oh
a
yeah.
known Milwaukee artist
Yeah, shout out to
who
Sawyer for sure.
he run the circle. So man, shout out to him, man.
Yeah, he does a great job, and I like his approach. It's
Yeah,
nice and smooth. He doesn't
yeah,
come aggressive and stuff, and he takes his time and he's patient. And I think that's the biggest part for him being a young
yeah,
guy like he is, and just being patient. So shout
yeah,
out to Sawyer for doing this thing for sure. We had an interesting last night was interesting. The Packers end up
yeah.
having a
I just
weird
heard they took a
ending
L.
to
I
that
ain't watched the
football
game.
game. Jermaine, come on, man. What you rolling your eyes? Come on, hop
We
on the
just
mic.
we just
Debo,
heard Mike
Debo
was
kind of
injured.
quiet too. I need to get some of that Debo
Man,
critiquing over too, man. He a little quiet today too. No, he said no, he ain't dealing with it.
I think it was more of the defense came to play.
Mhm.
Defense came
Yeah.
to play. They weren't playing. Offense, Jordan Love was holding the ball too long.
Yeah, he was running like a.
Man, I
If
mean,
you had running for Jordan Love on any of your little picks last night, you probably got it.
I mean, plenty of
But you
points for
definitely
that.
didn't get touchdowns.
Because that cat was, man, he was moving, but he was holding the ball too long. He had Romeo Dobbs open a few times on the post route and just missed him. So when I realized that the game was boring, I turned to the Bucks game,
Yeah.
and I had to get that.
Yeah, right. And I watched. At least we got to see a win over there.
Yeah, man,
you know,
on
Yeah.
2 points.
because
But
they over there talking.
Yeah,
all
they
these,
was in Dallas.
yeah,
Hey.
it looked like some folks in Dallas is holding on to their jobs by a thread. Is what
oh,
they
by
keep
the hair,
saying.
the chinny chin
Oh,
The
chin.
yeah.
chinny chin chin
Yeah,
over there.
Doc.
That's
Shout
what
out-
it's looking like.
But
Shout
that
out to-
cat had 20 some points though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to
Cooper
my
Black.
brother Von
Yeah.
Harris too. He the camera guy
Oh,
over
yeah, I
there
know
in
Von.
Dallas.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
He took that picture with
Gorilla, yeah, he
and
went
what's his name
viral.
last
Yeah,
week?
yeah,
the other week, yeah.
with Gorilla kissing.
Shout out to Von for sure.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm so happy I'm get to see my people.
Yeah,
in
he was
Milwaukee. I
happy
seen
about
it.
that last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I seen a
dope.
couple of my folks was at the game last night. One of my old mentors was there. That lives down in Danielle, who lives down there in Dallas. So I seen him. He was at the game. So
Yeah, man, I could have
like that.
swore I saw my boy Johnny Jones sitting behind the Bucks bench.
You probably did.
I'm
That's
looking
how
like,
them
man,
games
look
be.
like-
You can scan the
Yeah.
crowds. You see
Yeah.
folks. You be
Yeah.
like,
I'm like, wait a minute, is that Johnny?
Yeah. People that
Yeah,
been
they're
gone
like-
for 3, 4, 5, 10 years. They
Yeah.
sitting at the games. But that's what's
Yeah.
cool about having the uniqueness of Milwaukee. Is like we a small market team, small market city, but we a small market with a basketball team, and folks can pop out. They got a
Yeah.
reason. Like, hey man, it's like a little reunion. If you got a little bread to go
Yeah.
to any of the cities that got a basketball team and the Bucks playing them. You want to see somebody, hey man, meet me at the Bucks game. I don't care. We don't got to sit in the we don't got to sit on the floor. I get some, $60, $70 tickets and we can go make it a little
Hanging
situation.
from a chandelier.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. We can hang from the chandelier,
Hey.
have a couple up top.
But I feel like
And then most of them have clubs. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Nisha. Most
No,
of
go
them
ahead.
spots got clubs
Clubs
too.
at the top.
So
yeah.
you
Yeah.
cool. If you at the Bucks game, I'm cool with sitting
Yeah.
up top having a
Yeah.
couple drinks,
Yeah.
networking and chilling with somebody or chilling. And then Miami, they got little clubs inside
do.
there.
Yeah, they do.
So.
I know the Pfizer Forum. I feel like it's a little different from the Bradley Center. Like up top ain't
way
as high
different.
as it.
Yeah,
it
Oh,
used to be.
yeah,
they
it
cut
used
the
to be.
Yeah,
they cut
it ain't
the
like
peak.
you ain't
Yeah.
real high.
'cause
It's
like
more
how it was built.
wide.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that was built for hockey too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Remember, Bradley was built
For
for
hockey.
the Admirals
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
okay.
and not the Bucks. So this
Yeah.
was built with the Bucks in mind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so when they built the Mecca, that was for the Bucks, right? Because
Yep.
of how the ceiling was and how
Mhm.
low it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that definitely has. You lost that incline that used to get you a
Yeah.
little buzzed and
Yeah.
dizzy when you get up top
Yeah,
and
I
you
ain't
look and you like,
that.
oh, hold up, let me adjust my
Yeah,
vision right now. I'm feeling a
It
little
ain't
bit
that
of
bad.
vertigo or
Woozy,
something.
yeah.
So
it
yeah,
ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. The Pfizer.
yeah. So yeah, that was at least it was a half and half yesterday. I mean, I'd really rather take that game last night, that Packer game all day. Bucks got a lot of basketball in front of them. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was fun. On another interesting note, since we talk about things that's going on in the city and interesting things, Nisha had posted, and I think this guy going to just law enforcement having to deal with a lot of things, and some and sometimes we talk about, do they deserve the money, or should they get the overtimes and all this stuff. But this one may not be Milwaukee related, but this one is still Wisconsin related. It's still Milwaukee County. So it looked like 7 people, some in costumes, were arrested at a vacant hotel in Wauwatosa last night. So police responded to a now closed, and I've been to this Radisson. We used to have even our church services at this. So shout out to Kingdom Business Community Church, KBCC, which is a former pastor, who is still a pastor and minister, my cousin Mr. Syfax, Pastor Syfax, and Billy Brooks, Arnold Syfax and Billy Brooks. But we had a hotel church services there for a little bit in like the 10s, like 2012, 13, 14. But anyway, outside of that, 7 people were arrested overnight Tuesday, with officers found a group of them inside this vacant hotel. Tulsa police were called to this now closed property at 12:30, and we're seeing people going in and out of rooms doing their search of the vacant. So at one point, 12 they said 12 crew, so shout out to WISN, was on the scene and observed multiple individuals wearing what appeared to be Care Bear costumes being escorted out of the buildings in handcuffs. Y'all, this is the Radisson right there on the corner. For anybody that's thinking about it or trying to figure out what hotel this is the Radisson right there on the corner of Highway 100 and
Is it North Avenue?
in North Avenue. So y'all been there. They had the little weird iguana restaurant outside. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah. So there were 4 adults and 3 children were arrested for trespassing. No additional details were released about it, but as you know, that's been closed since 2024. So I thought that was pretty interesting. A little
That's
fun.
Funny. They
little
probably
fun
was just like
conversation.
running through there. Just
So 4 adults and 3 children in Care Bear costumes, though.
That's funny, dog. Halloween is over.
Wait.
So I don't know what the hell. I mean, ooh.
Nah, you know what the hell they doing? Wait, you got 4 adults
And
4 adults
kids.
and 3 kids
and 3 kids
in Care Bear
in Care Bear costumes inside
Radisson
closed
Hotel.
Radisson Hotel.
the closed Radisson Hotel.
in Wauwatosa.
in Walter.
Now, my first question is, how did you get into the
Yeah,
Radisson Hotel? First of all, if it's been closed for a year now, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you get in? Two, was there any lights on for you to run through this building?
That's what I was wondering. Was like this.
Yeah, I want more details
Yeah,
about
like,
this. Like,
Was
tell
this
me
something?
more
Because you know they do a
information.
lot of those YouTube shows where they like, hi,
Yeah.
we're in Wauwatosa, and we're
Oh, so they was
Yeah.
going through an abandoned
That's what I was
hotel.
thinking.
So I
Maybe they was
thinking,
doing
Filming or
some content
but
because
running around in Care Bear costumes.
yeah, I
and
think they was
But did
probably doing
anybody
some
have a
content.
camera? Because if did nobody have a camera, I
this
got a
defeats
lot
the
of
purpose.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because then I got
Yeah.
other questions.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what the
You
hell
in there with
going on?
kids? Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. And I thought that was kind of funny. Outside of all the the other silly, serious stuff we have going on, I thought that was kind of goofy. And it was outside the city of Milwaukee. It wasn't.
Yeah,
It wasn't on us. It wasn't. Might have been some residents from us, but they wasn't us. For right now. That's all we need to know. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. But I guess shout out to the responses of the Wauwatosa police. They gave them something to do last night.
Yeah, because they definitely be bored.
Yes, they do. All right. So on a lighter note, well, on a more serious note, I guess again, we you had another video ready for us today, didn't you?
Oh yeah. We
I know
got
we
a
before we get,
video. Let's see.
we
if
got about
ready,
another
Jermaine? Ain't ready yet.
5-6 minutes before break, and would you like to introduce this video and tell them what this was about for our people?
So yeah, we've been out just getting street interviews from people, and we was at Atkinson Park last week Wednesday, and we got a few people who was at the grocery giveaway who help and volunteer and give out groceries at Atkinson Park. Shout out to HKBT.
Yep.
They out there every Wednesday.
Yep.
Serving their community. And his name Hyman Bradshaw. He decided he wasn't gonna do it with us, but he was like, I guess, and he did a little video with us.
Dude,
So we
funny.
just asked him a couple questions.
Yeah.
And so go ahead and hit that play
Once
button.
again, it's on. So when I think about the U.S. and how it's progressing forward nowadays, I tend to stay hopeful. I believe that people can sooner or later come together, and especially when you have tragedies in the communities, that's when people really bond. So one of the things that I think that affects Wisconsin government or whatever is the relationship between the community and the law enforcement. People don't trust the law. They don't trust the law. And so they tend to get themselves in a predicament because the first thing they're going to do is be combative. You know what I mean? The police ask you for your ID and you just sitting at the park, what you going to say? I'm like, I don't need to give you my ID, right? But how you going to argue with the police, right? How you going to argue with the police?
How you gonna argue with the police?
Mm-hmm. So how do you feel about that interview with Mr. Bradshaw?
I feel like
from what you've been doing and the work that you've been doing.
From what the work I've been doing, I do understand like the community and police relationship is bad, but I do think it's getting better. Just from a lot of the events we went through this summer, like it was a lot of cops at those events, and they was engaging with the community, but it is still cops who ain't really trying to
or don't care to understand the community. That's the biggest part though.
Yeah, we definitely got a handful that does understand though.
It's way more. I mean, I'm real new to this scene and the community scene. To me, I mean, in my space, in this space, I feel like I've been doing my part and been in and out over the years since my early 20s, or prior to that. But now, even just the last 2-3 years, I've seen more activity. Especially between city of Milwaukee showing up to a lot of Milwaukee Police Department showing up to events, and sheriffs showing up or supporting events, or at least when they're called to assist, they're showing up. But also, I think it's a continued practice. It's not just like, all right, you guys pull up, and it needs to be a continued practice. And I've done some events this past year with different groups, and they were in support. Did one at Howard Fuller when I went and spoke about civic engagement, and we did a tour, and it was nice to see a group of officers going through. I think they had spoken in another room, but they actually took time to go on the tour and engage and things like that. But just humanize their experience versus just looking at them as just folks that's patrolling or over quote unquote overseeing a certain space. I think it's always a continued practice when it comes to
Yeah.
that. We got the guy here that will be talking about the budget and things from different angles. People out here are curious to see, like, hey, are you just trying to apprehend, or are you interested in involvement? And then again,
Yeah.
too, it's not gonna be the same for every officer in the space. We know that
Yeah.
because some people it's just a job.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed though that it's a lot of some younger officers that look like us that's been really out heavy in the community.
Mhm.
Like I know I went to several night outs and it was a lot of young,
Yeah.
black
Yeah.
officers who were
And the
engaging
sheriffs,
with the
too.
community, like
Mhm.
playing cans and just having fun with the people.
Yeah.
So I love to see that for
Yeah.
sure. I love to see that. So
Yeah.
it is some out there, but
Yeah.
it is some,
Yeah.
I can't
And
even say the word,
Yeah.
out there too.
yeah. In every space, you deal with challenges and folks that are going to be apprehensive. So it is what it is. People are human. We just gotta find the ones that rock with
Yeah.
whatever the I guess the game plan is, or whatever the movement is, and then just for everybody else, not hopefully they just at least respect it. So
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you for that
Nah.
video. I appreciate it. We're gonna have more videos and clips in the future with Wisconsin Voices, just doing our street interviews. Like I said yesterday, if you are somebody that wants to be interviewed for one of our street interviews, contact myself or contact LANISHA. 414. You can call right now if you just want to,
Yeah.
set
Call
one up.
in and see
And
what you think about what
yeah,
Hyman said.
and even if you just want to call in and see if you want to set up to do a street interview, 414-444-5253 or 5250. We'd love to get in contact with you and tap in. You come past the office, or we can meet you where you at. Probably better to meet you where you at to
Yeah.
make it as genuine and
Yeah.
authentic as far as that street interview. So
Yeah. Brian,
Yeah.
you got some new glasses?
these are just when I went through the it's funny. I went through the trying to find pair at the last minute. This is just one of the pairs I bought. So these are,
Yeah, them
as they got
smooth.
little got the little transition lens inside of them. So
Okay,
there's some
what's
fake
them?
shades.
What's them?
I think they call Robert Mitchell or
Oh
something
yeah,
like that.
them I like
Yeah,
them. Them
yeah.
smooth.
I have to have it. Got the little aviator look to them.
Yeah, yeah, they
Yeah,
smooth.
they got a little rose gold on the side and
Yeah,
stuff
they
like
hitting
that.
with that jacket you got on
Man,
today,
I
man.
appreciate. Look, you the one that's
Yeah.
always smooth. Look,
Nah,
I already told you I
nah,
need to
don't
raid
start.
your closet because you already got the clothing. I guess it's time for us to go ahead and take our first break. I think we're doing pretty good timing. It's perfect timing. So next we'll be bringing on Mr. Bill Christianson from the city of Milwaukee, comptroller, to talk about a budget and everything else. We'll be right back. Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices, Brian and LANISHA. Welcome back. Oh yeah, this mic is definitely the sensitive mic. Welcome back to Be a Voice. I sound different. Hey, welcome back to Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices.
Don
Yes.
Cornelius.
Welcome back. I sound like Debo right now. Welcome back to Be a Voice Radio. Sorry, Debo. Look. All right, Debo. Look, I don't want to smoke, Debo. I might want to show in the future. Hey, look. So, welcome back to Be a Voice Radio today. We're focusing on the financial health of our city with the man who manages the money, City Comptroller Bill Christianson. Bill is the city's independent fiscal watchdog and chief financial officer. He's a lifelong Milwaukee and a certified public finance officer, bringing nearly 15 years of hands-on experience in City Hall, where he previously served as deputy comptroller. Comptroller Christianson's job is crucial. He oversees the city's $1 billion debt program, ensures transparency in spending, and is dedicated to improving the city's bond rating so we pay less in interest. Right now, he is tasked with sustaining the financial stability achieved through Act 12 while grappling with the monumental challenges of rising pension costs. He's here to discuss the roadmap for Milwaukee's economy and moving forward. And I am happy to have Mr. Bill Christianson here after we had him last year. Congratulations on your elected position. And thanks for coming to Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices.
Boy, you've done your homework. I
Nah.
hardly need to introduce myself. You've covered all the bases.
I told you, I was saying before we come on, I got to come a little hard. You know, this is one of them challenging interviews in my mind because it's such a serious space, but also, this is such an important interview and opportunity for people that's listening to understand, what's going on and, how we can, explain it to them in the easiest terminology.
Definitely. And I do just want to say before we get started,
Of course.
Thank you to all of the veterans. Today is Veterans Day.
Absolutely.
And, veterans' mental health is something that's very important to me. I lost a close friend recently, a veteran to suicide. And in fact, there was an event last week at City Hall to do 22 push-ups in honor of veterans who have succumbed to suicide. And not going to name any names, but there were some city officials who did not go all the way down on their push-ups.
Man.
Just 22?
Just 22.
Yeah.
My age, I'm 40, so 22 push-ups is a lot. But I was observing my colleagues. And, some did not go all the way down.
So I'm thinking, do we need a new campaign in the city for exercise and health? We might add a new city campaign.
Yeah.
Look, I'm trying to keep them push-ups are extremely important.
Push-ups are hard.
The upper body strength is important.
It's hard.
Yeah. So and I definitely
5.
Yeah, you said 5.
I probably can do 5.
Okay. I mean, look, you build it up to 20. And thank you for that shout out to veterans. That I absolutely do want to shout out our veterans in Milwaukee and everybody who has served and people in my family. I definitely want to extend a shout out to my granddad and two of my uncles that served in the Korean War that were active in as gunners. 2 gunners, which were the brothers, and then my uncle Vet as well, Peter McCallum, who served in the war as well. So just want to shout them out. So we're gonna get into the good stuff, Mr. Christianson. Are you ready?
All right, let's do this.
Let's do it. We're gonna start off pretty smooth. So for our listeners who may not be familiar, what is the single most important job you do for the city of Milwaukee, and how does your office impact every resident's day-to-day life?
Well, it's hard to put it down to one, but what I would say is we are the central nervous system for every financial transaction that flows through the city. So if it involves dollars changing hands, if it involves us paying somebody or being paid, it goes through our shop. So you want us to be timely and accurate and competent, and I believe that we are. Our most important single activity, I would say, is we prepare the city's annual comprehensive financial report. And that's something that is used by investors, it's used by bond rating agencies, and it's used by other municipalities to kind of compare, to look and see on a level playing field, how is the city of Milwaukee financially relative to its peers, other cities and counties.
Wow. So is that, and this is just a off-brand or not off-brand, just offset question. Would that bring attraction? Is that something that attracts like different businesses and organizations across the country to want to come here and do business with Milwaukee? Was that something that they would look at?
It's a 200-page report. It's a little dense. I don't know that that's maybe I don't know that that's in the top 10 list of why a business would move to Milwaukee. But I think some may look at the city's bond rating,
Okay.
and which is, you know, kind of derived from the annual financial report.
Okay, cool.
Okay. How would you describe the overall financial health of the city of Milwaukee right now, especially following the recent state budget adjustments like the Act 12?
Sure. So I'll speak to Act 12 specifically. I think Act 12, it saved us from what would have been, I think, some really unconscionable budget reductions and cuts in service. The scale of what we were talking about, I mean, it was about $180 million budget gap that we were facing in 2024 before Act 12 was passed. So having Act 12 come in and give the city the sales tax, which, I mean, the impact on residents, I think, is unfortunate. But what it did is it gave the city a lifeline. My hope was that it gave the city a lifeline for maybe 10 years, maybe more. But looking at the way things are now, I think the lights are flashing yellow. They're not quite red yet, but the lights are flashing yellow. That, you know, trouble may be on the horizon sooner than we had initially hoped for.
Yeah.
And I guess within that is and I know you're saying with the residents and the impact of the residents, and is that like a response that the residents will have, or is that something that will impact the residents within like a year or two, or is that are we looking at like you said, a 10-year period before we see any real impact?
Well, the impact on services, I think it depends. It depends on what action happens at the state level to kind of address some of the challenges that not just Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee is kind of the canary in the coal mine for Wisconsin cities, towns, and villages. You know, we have a larger share of our budget going to public safety than a lot of other cities and towns and villages in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So we're experiencing some of these, what I call like structural or ongoing financial challenges first. But I think that when these challenges start affecting upstate communities, they start affecting the suburbs, they start affecting others, and it's not just seen as a Milwaukee problem, I think we may see action, further action at the state level to kind of correct how local governments are funded here in Wisconsin.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, clearing that up. And yeah, we've always had that, you know, and just another, like, I've always had this, you know, people always talk about like a lot of the money that the states receives, of course, it spreads. Is that, and I've always been confused, is it like Madison gets a bulk of the money that Milwaukee, or that comes, you know, as you see, it was like the canary in the coal mine. Does Madison get the bulk of that, or does it like how's that spread out? I know that might be too complex of a question, maybe, I don't know, but is it like spread out, like, you know, we're gonna give Superior like, you know 200,000, but then Madison gets like 1.5 or 10? I don't know, how does that work?
So I would say this. So shared revenue, state shared revenue is the largest kind of state aid program.
Yeah.
And Milwaukee still gets the bulk, or not the bulk, but gets the largest of any municipality of that amount. I mean, by far. But we are also, you know, by far the largest city in the state. So I mean, is it proportional to our population? Perhaps. It might be. But I think there was Act 12, you know, to the state's credit, they did give a pretty large one-time increase in that shared revenue program. So I think that certainly helped us. And it will be tied to a more or less like inflation number moving forward. So it will grow, you know, give or take with the rate of inflation. But I think what we're seeing is that in city government, in city of Milwaukee, our expenses are they're growing faster than our revenues. And the way that that's being made up is by using reserves. So the city has a couple pots of reserves. And the thing about using reserves to plug ongoing budget holes is, you know, you'll reach a point where eventually those reserves are gone, where there's nothing left in your piggy banks, and
use all your savings.
Right? Yeah. I mean, the analogy is like, you know, you're using your personal savings to pay for your monthly bills. You can do that for a period of time and you can get by, but eventually those savings run dry,
Yeah.
and then you're faced with some really, really tough choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cuts and things that that what we've been seeing been talked about. All right, thank you for clearing that up for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no
All right.
problem.
Bonds, ratings, and savings. So you made improving the city's bond rating a priority. Can you walk us through in layman's terms exactly how a better bond rating translates into tangible savings for the city's budget and eventually for taxpayers? I could use some awareness on that too myself. So
yeah, in very simple terms, it's like a credit score for the city.
Yeah.
You've got your credit score, I got my credit score. The city has a bond rating, and I'd love to take credit for this, but I really can't. Shortly after I took office, the city was upgraded by one of our rating agencies, Fitch, and what that means in terms of cost to the city, it's our interest rate that we're paying on bonds that we take out. So money that the city borrows to pay for things like roads and bridges and, a lot of like infrastructure programs and to build libraries and things like that. The interest that we're paying is lower if your bond rating is better. And it's hard to say exactly how much, a AAA versus a single. AAA would be, among the highest, the best bond ratings you get. Single A is like, the lower end of what they call like investment grade or a quality credit. What the impact is to the city in dollar terms, but generally, better credit rate, a better bond rating, you're paying less in interest for essentially the same thing.
Okay.
So if your credit rating is worse and you're paying more, the only people that benefit are bankers and investors, not residents. So that's more. It's more that's available for services that matter to people and less going to bankers and investors.
Keep that rating on point then is what we heard.
Exactly.
So what is the biggest debt challenge in the city currently faces, and what is your strategy for responsibly managing or reducing that burden over the next few years?
And you said a debt challenge?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the debt challenge that I see that's pressing is the city has a lot of needs. We have, I think, over 1,000 miles of paved roads in the city, and a lot of people are, they look at the roads out there and they say, well, where's it all being spent? And it's incredibly expensive to pave a road. So the challenge that I see is that the needs are so great that, the city has actually increased its borrowing recently to meet some of those challenges, not just on roads, but there's a large software upgrade to our financial management and human resources management system. It's like it's like a $30 million software project.
Wow.
It's huge.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of needs out there. So you could say, well, just tighten your belt and don't do these things. But if the need is there, it doesn't go away just because you don't pay for it. The need is there.
Yeah.
So I see that as one of the major challenges that the city faces, and I think we just have to be strategic and like budgeting. So I spent 12 years in the city's budget office, and I mean, very, very simply put, budgets are about trade-offs. It's what can we do less of in order to do that thing we want to do more of. And it's just there's no easy answer, but I think you have to just do the best you can.
I feel that. We got a caller on the line.
Yeah, it looks like we got a caller on the line. Welcome to Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices. Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, good morning to you. I got a question to ask the gentleman that's talking about the city going belly up on they're depleting their savings and all of this kind of stuff. Well, explain this to me. What's going on with all the money and the revenues that the city takes in on tickets, on towing our cars? By the way, some of those cars that are towed are not repossessed. The city takes title of them, and the people still owe the bank, and you guys auction them out. But they'll come tell us that it costs more money to get rid of them than it does to actually say, well, we know that's an untruth. Then what about the recycling program that we claim that so much of the money or revenues would be given to a tax credit, and where's that money at the recycling efforts? And that commodity for cars, when they got to crash the cars, the commodity goes up and down. What about when the stock value of the vehicle is maybe $200, maybe $300 a ton, and they're doing these big vans and so forth and whatnot? Where's that money at, man? You keep coming here telling us that the city is going broke, raising our taxes, talking about street repairs, when we know that gas tax is what actually covers the doggone street repairs. So what's going on here? I'll take it off the air, but where's that money at, man? Where's that?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Get busy.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. I mean, I think first of all, I'll say I didn't say anything about the city going belly up. I said that we're at yellow lights. We're not at red lights yet. We're flashing yellow. There's reason for concern. But just to follow up on some of the comments about like towing and parking. So the transportation fund, which has the parking fund within it. So all the parking operations are separate from the city. Think of them as like a business that's run within the city, but separate from police and fire and DPW and offices like mine. So during COVID, a lot of the revenue or most of the revenue came from meters. It came from tickets. It came from, structures that people pay to park in. So during COVID, a lot of that revenue dried up and people weren't coming downtown to park. And for a long period of time, the rate, the fees, the tickets, the rates were suspended. So the amount that was coming in wasn't enough to offset the expenses that were coming out of the fund. So what happened is the transportation fund, which includes the parking fund, found itself in a cash deficit, and the transportation fund is still in that position. So we prepare the annual comprehensive financial report, and that was one of the things that we emphasized to the administration and to the Common Council is like, look, you've got to take care of this cash deficit in this fund. And the way you do that is by year over year over year in that transportation fund, having revenues be greater than expenditures. You need to take in more money than you're spending. And I think they are taking steps to correct that. And it's going to be a long road. So you're going to see things like you're going to see initiatives to raise revenue, and the caller spoke to some of those, and I think you're going to see more. But I think it's part of my job is to raise these issues. That hey, there's a $32 million cash deficit in the transportation fund that needs to be corrected. So you need to raise revenues to offset that. Now, I'm not sure about the recycling. I'll have to get back, and if that caller wants to reach out to the show, I can discuss
we
that
can
with
tap
him
in.
further.
We catch up and we can answer that for him whenever we get a chance. So yeah, I mean, I was listening to you when you were saying that. So like, you would tell them, and then they have to find a way to do what it is to bring that money up. And like you were saying, some things have changed. And one thing I did see was the announcement of like the change in the times of the parking. So it's gonna go to like free parking will be to like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I sometimes brunch in the third ward on Saturdays, and
the comptroller gonna have to pay for that too, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So I've observed it myself that there are opportunities out there to charge more or to charge wider time windows and weekends. So yeah, I think there's definitely things that can and are being done to correct that. And I mean, it's unfortunate that folks are going to have to pay more, but at the same time, you've got these financial issues that don't just go away on their own. They have to be addressed head on.
Okay, well, thank you, appreciate that. Is it time for first break? We good for a first break? Second break. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Yeah. Let's go ahead and go for second break. If you have any questions, comments, or anything with Mr. Bill Christian, call in 414-444-42 844-5253. We are on. He's answering questions. Shout out to the last caller. Y'all always saying something about what's going on in the city. You can get the questions right now. Call in right back after this break. Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices. Would love to know. This is opportunity, so I do thank y'all for calling in, and it looks like we got a caller. Looks like we got a caller. Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, all. Thank you very much for having the show.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Thank you very much for having the show and having Mr. Christianson on. Just one quick question, if I may.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at this whole situation with the money. I know the transportation situation is a problem and the pension is a problem. I'm trying to figure out where the money is going in the pension. And if I can ask Mr. Christianson, how does that multiplier situation work for individual workers at the city? So you're the comptroller, you get a certain pension multiplier, and then you have like a forestry guy or garbage man or a water man or health department. They get a different multiplier. Is that correct or is that not correct? Because I think that's the root of the whole problem right there.
Yeah, that is correct. Different employee groups have different pension multipliers. So what the caller is referring to is so every year of service, you earn a certain credit towards the final amount that you would receive as part of your pension. So yes, there are, and it also depends on when you started with the city. Your multiplier might be different depending on when you started. So I mean, I think there are a number of issues as to why the pension fund needs, why the cost to the city for the pension fund have gone up. But I think the biggest driver was so Act 12. We talked about Act 12 a lot. It did a lot of things, but one of the things it did is it lowered what they call the discount rate, and the discount rate is just basically how much do you expect the fund to earn in a year. So the pension fund, it's like a $6 billion fund. Well, what percent earnings are you going to get on that money in a year? And it had been 7.25%, or I'm sorry, it had been 7.5%. Act 12 lowered it down to 6.8%. Sounds like a relatively small difference, but that added what they call like the unfunded liability. So the amount that should be in the plan but isn't, added hundreds of millions of dollars to that, what they call the unfunded liability. So just lowering how much you assume you're going to get this year and future years, that massively increased that unfunded liability. So I think that's a lot larger of a driver of the problem that we see in the pension fund.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't think that's correct, but because in 2008, if I remember, the pension fund of the city of Milwaukee was rated the number 2 pension fund, I think, in the country, if not the world. And it had 105% of all the needed monies going into the future. And now, 17 years later, we have a situation where it's been so totally mismanaged that it is only funding about 80%, 82%. So there's something going on there, and I think that multiplier is one part of it. The police department gets that big multiplier, and we're screwing, pardon my language, but we're really disaffecting the regular employees. The guys that are out there in the flood, the guys that work on water mains in the middle of winter, the guys that pick up garbage and plow snow, these guys are getting a 56% less pension than you are, Mr. Christianson. So that's not good. But I appreciate your answer. Thank you.
All right, thanks for calling in. Thanks, you appreciate that. All right, so back to it. How do you feel about that call? What do you feel about that? Was that something that have you heard that type of conversation before? Is that the first time that's been mentioned to you?
Even as it relates to the inequities among employee groups. I'm generally aware of some of those issues, but probably not as aware as I should be. So I may have something to look into.
Right. I know it's new for you, so I know some of this stuff. It's like, hold up, wait, I wasn't even around then. I was just getting out of high school. Calm down, right? I'm finding my way in college, and
And what I would say is, like, he mentioned 2008. Well, what else happened in 2008? We had the global financial crisis.
Yeah.
and we had massive losses in the stock market. So what did that do to the funded status? It brought it down a lot, and so I think it's never just one thing. It's always sort of a complicated picture involving a lot of other things. So yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly it can be a difficult to explain in a very short interaction type of issue.
Okay, yeah, all right. We only got an hour over here, right? So we need more time with you. All right, you got anything for?
I mean, time winding down. Is it something like?
I still
want to go to the question?
Yeah, I'm still in it. So
okay,
I knock it out. So this was kind of cool question. What specific internal controls has your office recently strengthened to prevent the misuse of public funds?
So one thing that we do is we have this open checkbook dashboard. So what that does is it allows anybody it's on our website. You can just go look at it, scroll through. It allows you to see who the city's paying, what we're paying them for, and how often we're paying them. So for anybody that is interested, they can learn more. Another thing that we did related to internal controls is we put in place some measures to prevent a type of fraud that actually recently occurred at the city. It was a vendor impersonation where somebody acted as one of the vendors that the city does business with and said, hey, I need to change my bank account information. And that transaction was allowed to go through, and the city made payments to this fraudster. And ultimately, the money was recovered thanks to the swift work of the Milwaukee Police Department's Financial Crimes Unit. Got to give them their credit. But in response to that, we put in place a couple of different measures that would have prevented that fraud from occurring in the first place. And fraudsters tend to stay one step ahead. They're using artificial intelligence.
Oh man, we're seeing it now. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I think it's up to us to keep up to speed on what's happening out there and how to stay as close to where the fraud they might be one step ahead, but we got to stay as close as we can because it's taxpayer money, and it's important that we get this stuff right.
Right. So what is one message you want to leave with our listeners about their confidence in the city's financial future?
Yeah. So I mean, I think we avoided what would have been a devastating budget with Act 12. I think Act 12 saved us from imminent problems, but I think the challenges are nearer than we had hoped. So I guess the message as I see it would be, get in touch with your elected representatives, myself included, and let them know what's important to you. Because as I mentioned earlier, budgets are all about trade-offs. So the more they know what's important to you, the better they're able to craft future budgets that will be reflective of what it is you want to see for yourself and for the community.
I like that. Appreciate that. And one more question before we get up out of here. What is the best piece of financial advice for the average Milwaukee family that you could see from looking at your scope or your landscape? Is any advice or any family advice or financial advice that you would like to share to our listeners?
Well, let me start with a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, so do not.
That's
take
cool.
this as,
That's cool.
No, but I mean, this is something that that my dad told me as soon as I started with the city. My dad, he was a firefighter, and he was a city employee as well. And he said, before you get your first paycheck, take a certain amount. The city has this deferred compensation program where you can take a certain percentage of your paycheck pre-tax and invest it. He says, before you get your first paycheck, sign up for that and put that. So basically that money gets deducted. You never see it. It gets deducted. It gets put into an account that you can invest. You build your life around what you get, not that amount, not that total amount. Because if you never have it in the first place, you don't really miss it. So you build your life around that lower amount. In the meantime, this small investment grows over time. The value of compounding interest is a beautiful thing. It's not it's not flashy, it's not sexy, but it's really important. It's a way for people to make sure that they have money for important things like housing and everything that they need.
Oh,
Well,
thank
my
you so
uncle just
much.
told me this like
We got
a
to wrap
couple
up.
weeks ago. he started out investing young.
Yeah,
So
we about
yeah.
to get up out of here, y'all. Sorry about
Yeah.
the cut off, Nisha, but we
Yeah,
got to
it's all
go ahead and
good.
close it. God bless y'all. We want to thank you, Mr. Bill Christianson, for coming, Comptroller, City of Milwaukee. Hopefully, we get you on in the future to talk more financial budget information.
Absolutely.
Be a blessing.
Peace.
Thank you.
Be smooth.